Okay, well, welcome to, this is the third senior gold selection group, Zoom. So our third week in this. So we started out with several. Now we're down to three. This is not uncommon with groups, especially this time of day, because it's in the middle of the day. So it's just the way it is. But we're going to get started. I'm excited about today. We're going to be going back over the winning day steps. We're going to see how we're going to do a review of all of those 7 steps. Was it 7? Yeah. 7 steps. And we're going to see how things are going in those areas and how it's translating to signing people up, how it's translating in just different areas of our business. So we are going to get started. Before I get started, I have to apologize about the sweaty mess. We are finishing up a major garden overhaul. Today's the day. We finished today. So anyway, that's what we're working on. End of the summer, we're finishing our garden. That's just how we roll, I guess. So it'll be ready for next year. So anyway, we got the kids out there shoveling dirt and mulch and all the good things that help build character. So we're going to get started here just on step 1. Before we get started on that, is there anything that any of you guys are wanting to just start off? Any major league areas or issues that you need addressed or you want to bring up before we get started? No? Okay. Is my internet stable? Is it okay? Okay. I have turned all the Wi-Fi off, all the computers, but I can't find one of the computers. So I don't know if that'll mess us up today or not. We'll find out.
I say it was spotty for me just now, but it could be me being spotty. So if the other two say you're not, then it's me on my end.
Okay. Perfect.
And I find when the cameras are being used like this, that happens a lot. So if you ask me a question and I don't answer, it's because I'm frozen.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Okay, so let's just go back through these steps real quick. We'll start with step number 1. Step number 1, which is sow seeds for later. So I want to cover some of this again, just review these things. And again, just see how these steps are translating. 1, if we're doing the steps. 2, if we are, how's it translating into our business, into the results of our business? So sowing seeds for later, we talked about this. This is this could be in groups. This is liking people's posts. This is commenting on people's posts, basically engaging with people. This isn't really, and this is all this is, just engaging with people. So it could be different hashtags on Instagram. It could be, hold on, I got them. Okay. It could be starting conversations. It could be groups. We've talked about groups in this, in these Zooms, about joining groups that are an extension of who you are outside of Plexus. For me, it's gardening, it's fitness, it's fatherhood. Those sorts of things are the things that are an extension of me outside of Plexus. So those are groups that I have joined. So have we been doing this the last few weeks more? And if so, how is that changing your business? How's that changing your attitude or your approach or your signups or anything like that? Are you guys seeing any different or any fruit from doing this first step?
One of the things I see, the more I like and especially comment on other people's posts, the more they hop over to my posts and like. They don't necessarily always comment as much as I try to, but I have a purpose. But I see more interactions on my posts from the people who I'm interacting with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. This is engagement. This is what it is, and this is how social media works. So, and I have brought this up before, and I'm saying this to me more than anybody else, because I'll comment on people's posts and I'll just be like, I'll say, awesome. exclamation point, but that really, which is great. It is a comment, it is engagement, but the way social media is set up, that does nothing to the algorithm of social media. So if we're really wanting to boost engagement and boost the algorithm and get even more noticed, I guess, in social media world, is to have in your comment, have 5 or more words and try to incorporate a question into it so that there's more dialogue, more feedback, more engagement, and then more people will start to notice your stuff because it does something to the way the algorithms of social media work.
I do have a question about that. I just did a call to action post this morning, which was one of those like drop a GIF or drop a meme. Is that even worth doing? Like when people just drop GIFs or memes, does that mess with the algorithms in a positive way? Does anybody know?
I don't know. I'm not sure about the memes. I mean, it's engagement. Right. So, and not every post is going to have, not every post or every comment is going to cause the algorithm or cause you to get engaged or cause you to be noticed more. I mean, not every time we do that, I don't think it will, what am I trying to say? If you're throwing something like that out there, you're at least getting engagement with people. So you have people on one hand and you have the algorithm on the other hand, right? So I think anything that involves engagement is good. But when you're commenting on someone, let's say there's someone that you would really want on your team, someone like that, when you comment on their posts, make sure it's an engaging comment that's 5 or more words and try to incorporate a question.
That makes sense.
So, and I don't know how it all works because some people will start to see your post in it then that didn't see your post before. It's a weird world. I don't understand all of it, to be honest with you. And I probably don't want to understand it however we're being socially engineered these days, but we're going to use it. Well, you're going to use it for good. And as long as we can stand it, and that's what we're going to do. So who else on sowing seeds for later? Roberta, what do you got?
When you had said, the 5 or more words, I've really started doing that and paying attention, because sometimes I'll have like when somebody loses a dog or loses a horse or something like that, I'll put in there usually hugs and prayers of peace. And I had to count that. Is that 5 words? So I make sure now that everything I say to anybody is over that 5-word limit. And sometimes it's not. So I'll say, I'm so very, very happy for you, something like that, just to get these words in there. But and when talking about the groups, I've always been involved with groups, but and I've got a lot of groups that are like 5,000, 10,000 plus members. And I guess I was never really super active in a lot of those other than the like it, but I wasn't really adding a lot of verbiage. So I started verbiage adding and, making sure that when someone does something, even though they've already got 400 comments, I go ahead and I write my comment in there over 5 words. And I have been really surprised at how many times I get a reply back from those people on that comment, so they're really, it's like they read all 300 and some comments they have, and they're, replying back to mine. So I've been really doing that and paying attention to that. And I've really gotten a lot of that. So like you say, I don't know that I've actually gotten any friend requests off of that yet, that they're seeing my page, but everything about Plexus I have is public. So they might be going over to my page and kind of, but then I'm thinking if everything about Plexus is public, but my private life is just for my friends, right? So if these people come over there to see what I'm about before they actually send me a friend request, they might not see that, hey, I'm really about the dogs. I'm really about these horses. All they see is Plexus. And they might think, well, I am trying to scam them and they're not going to friend request me. So do you see that as a drawback sometimes?
I think that posting too much about Plexus is a drawback. because again, Plexus is just a part of my life. It's not my life. Like, it's a big part of my life. I'm extremely grateful for it. All those things, but it's not my life. So there's so many, there's so many other things in my life that make me tick. Like I don't get up every morning just to do Plexus, right? And so if I only post about Plexus on my on Facebook or Instagram,
Well, get that.
people think that that's all I'm about, and it's not.
Yeah.
It's just
And
a
I'm not
part of my
doing
life.
that. I'm posting all my other stuff too, my private stuff, but it's only on the friends level, not a public level. So what I'm saying is if somebody from these groups were to come over to my board that's not my friend and look at my stuff, that's all they're going to see is the public stuff, which is, well, it's either Plexus or Beamer, because I'm a Beamer distributor too, and I do that as public also. So they're going to see one or the other. They're not going to see my personal stuff to see what kind of a person I really am, what I'm really all about. I'm all about this or all about that, because that's at a friend level. So I was wondering if they come over there and they just see the public stuff as the Plexus or Beamer, is that a deterrent that they wouldn't see my other stuff? So I'm debating, do I open up and make my horse and dog posts public too?
I personally, I mean, and we can hear from everybody else on here, because I'm not the resident expert of social media. So, because I make everything public. Like, if you see a post of mine, it's public. I don't private anything.
Okay.
I've been warned about kids and perverts and all that stuff. Well, come on over. Like you are that stupid to come to my house. Like, we'll just.
I get it.
So,
yeah.
But the thing is, so I would find it as a deterrent. If I went and saw, like, if I went to someone's page and I was checking them out and all I saw was Plexus posts and that's all I saw, I look at it as a deterrent.
See, I would too. That's why I was wondering. That's what immediately came to my mind. I'm like, wow, if these people come and look at that, that's all they're going to see.
Yeah. So so the majority of the posts like that I post, I don't post about Plexus. I used to. I'm not as much anymore. I still post about Plexus, or I put it in my stories a lot of times, but really, if I get around to posting these days, like, I spend so much time on my phone, I try to leave it behind now more than I take it with me, because it's like, I just personally need a break, because it's constant for me and Megan. Like there's so many messages, and it's not just from the team or from people interested, it's from the corporate office, or it's from it's just a lot. So
yeah.
So a lot of the posts that like I do, I'll just post about what we're doing throughout the day, because I used to, again, go back to, why are we posting? Like, are we posting to sign people up? Because if we are, that's a failed model. That won't work. We're not, this sowing seeds for later, there's a key word there, later. Like, when we're posting and we're doing and engaging all these things, we're just connecting with people. We're just showing, hey, this is what I'm about. And if you go to like my Facebook page, you'll see I'm about my wife. You'll see I'm about my family. We have all sorts of, gardening and goats, and we're out in the woods. Like, those are the things that make me tick. That's the things that make me who I am. And then I'll throw things in there about Plexus. So you get a wide variety of all the things that make me who I am. Because what I'm doing when I'm posting is I'm trying to be a good example to a lot of people, be an encouragement to a lot of people. And if I can help them in the areas of fatherhood, family, gardening, hunting, fitness, or Plexus, finances, any of those things, I want to be a help to them, not just Plexus. And so my intention when I post is just to be an encouragement and help people, and actually really any area that I can, Plexus included, but I just don't post all Plexus anymore. We're sowing seeds for later, right? We're building trust. We're building relationships as we post, as we comment, as we engage. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So someone, a lot of my posts that I'd have marked just for friends, I might go ahead and, open them up for public.
Yeah.
So people that are coming over will see that I'm not just about the sales groups, that I do have a life, other words, because I do have a very good life.
You do. I mean, the posts that you do with the horses and all that stuff are awesome. And
Yeah.
so I think that that's engaging. I think that's attractive, and it's attractive for a lot of people. Like, whoa, that's cool. Look where she's at today.
Yeah.
On a horse. And yeah, she's drinking her pink drink, but man, she's on a horse, like on a hill or a mountain or whatever. We don't have any hills or mountains where I live, but like they all look like mountains to me. But I find that engaging. I think that's cool. I find that, like, as far as attraction marketing, I think that is neat. Family is neat with attraction marketing, gardening, exercising, cooking, home decorating, animals, like all those things attract people to us. Then we can tell them about Plexus later, right?
Agree. Yeah. Thank you.
Yep. So anybody else on sowing seeds for later? Have you seen, as you've been doing this, engaging more, posting more, commenting more, liking more, following groups, any things like that? Have you guys seen anything else? Seen it translate to any fruit in your business? Amber?
I've been posting more, and I just, the last few posts, one day I just threw up because I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to post, but I threw up today and then I put fill in the blank. And I got a lot of engagement on that post from people that I had not engaged on a post in forever. And then I think I even got some new comments, and I posted a couple of pictures of the sunset the past week. And so I'm learning to throw up not just Plexus, but other things. And I like what you said about making everything public. Like if I were to go to Roberta's page and see horse stuff, and I like to look at a variety of stuff, but I think I've nailed down my niche in the past week. I think I'm gonna do because I know on Instagram I post there too, and they say like you got to have a niche or whatever, and so I think what I'm probably going to do is do sunsets for like the next 6 months, because you can change your niche like every 3 to 6 months. And I think I finally nailed that down. So I feel accomplished in that. And just, I'm following back up with people like that I've engaged with or have engaged on my post. And, just learning to ask them how their day is going, ask how school is going, and just not making it so much about Plexus. I'm learning to, I guess, be more relaxed in my approach, but intentional at the same time. Does that make sense?
Right. Yep. Yeah, it makes total sense. Makes total sense. And as we're building these relationships, as we're making these connections and having these conversations and all these things, I think it's important to be relaxed, because there's no pressure, right? Like there's no real pressure to try to sell Plexus to this person. There's really it's more of just a relationship. And if you can help meet a need, that's great. Now, there is a downside to that though, and it's not striking when the iron's hot. So we have to know the difference. Like, you know, when someone's cold and you just meet them in a you know, checkout aisle and you just attack them with plexus, it's probably not the right time. It's probably the time to connect, right? But after you connect, there's also a skill of knowing when it's time to ask questions or to bring up plexus, right? So that's a whole nother thing. But right now we're just working on connecting, but also be paying attention as we're having conversations with people. Listen to what they're saying, like on their posts. Man, I'm so tired all the time. Hey, then that's the time to message, right? So there's times I think we have to just pay attention as we're connecting with people when it's time to be reaching out about plexus. But like I said, this is a long game. This isn't like a super fast game. This is a long game, and it takes a lot of conversations and a lot of connections, and for a long period of time sometimes. So we have to know the difference of building relationship and when it's time to actually ask questions and bring plexus up to that person. Okay, so step 1, sowing seeds for later. It sounds like that's going great. Starting to see fruit from that, which is good. Let's see. And what that will do is it will help keep, because there's a couple steps down the road here where we start actually sharing plexus with people, sending messages and talking to people. We'll talk about that here in a minute. And what this first step does is having these conversations, building these relationships, making these connections. What this does is it helps us keep our pipeline full, right? And we have to keep on doing this, and then talking with new people, talking with old people, and then when the time's right, then we start sharing plexus with them, right? So this is a way that we keep our pipeline full, is just engaging with people through conversation, likes, comments, those sorts of things. Step number 2, get noticed by adding value to people's lives. Now, this has to do with posting, and in posting, being intentional with how we post and why we're posting, right? So the first one has to do with just mainly commenting, engaging with other people's posts. Step 2 is our own posting, being intentional, kind of like Amber was talking about on Instagram. She's posting with intentionality, right? She's posting a specific niche, like for the next 6 months at least, on sunsets, right? And now as she does that, she's being intentional. And there's a lot of things you could do with sunset posts, for example. I mean, there's so many, like I've told the kids since they were little, not every time, but we see a sunset and it comes to my mind, I'll tell them there'll never be another sunset exactly like that one. Like that one is tailor-made for today. There'll never be another one with the same design, the same colors. It's unique. It's a one of a kind. So there's a lot you could do with sunset posts or horse posts or garden posts or whatever that we want to do. I was talking to my son the other day. He has so many. He just turned 17 today, and he's ready to go out into the world and like accomplish everything. And so I'm like, well, you can't. And he's talking all these dreams and ideas he has about Instagram and how he's wanting to do all these different things with hunting and being a hunting guide and all these things out west. He thinks he's a mountain man. So we'll see what happens with that. But I said, well, and he mentioned like 5 or 6 different things on Instagram. And I said, well, because, and this is something else to know, because he's under 20 and he won't even touch Facebook, right? Like that age group, like Facebook is for old people like me. So in his mind, like Facebook is this, you might as well just be sending a fax, right? Like he just doesn't even touch Facebook. So that's something to learn as well. When we maybe hit another social media app or platform, you hit a whole new demographic demographic of people. So that's something that to pay attention to. But I was telling him, I'm like, well, you need to, I said, you kind of need to dial it down. Like, what's your thing? Because you can't have like 17 different things. You need to have, I said, the people that I know that are killing it on Instagram have like their thing, right? Maybe it's home decorating. Like they're going to have home decorating posts, right? So people come to see the, see, is Instagram for the younger folks? I think it's for anybody, but younger kids don't use Facebook as much as middle-aged, or I refuse to call myself old, but older than young. It just seems like they won't touch Facebook that much. They don't like it. They like Instagram, like Snapchat.
I say it's Snapchat. I haven't looked at Snapchat either, but is Instagram, for them, is that like, would that be the next one for me to look into then, is just Instagram? Because I've tried to, and what I was even playing on it last night, and it seems like, because I was looking at a YouTube thing on how to use it, and some of the functions that you use on the PC, you can't, I mean, you use it on your phone, it's a whole lot easier to use on your phone than your PC. You can't get the same things. And
Right.
I am terrible with my phone. I'm serious. I have got to learn how to use my phone.
Yes, you do. Kids don't use PCs.
Yeah, and
They
that's
even
all I
have
use.
one. Like, I don't think they even have one. Like, I don't. Hold on, my God. Sorry, there's a car coming in that our daughter was out in the yard, so I was just making sure she was being watched. No, it is a lot from your phone. And for you, like from Instagram, like I think I am considering doing a whole new Instagram. Like I plan on possibly getting rid of or I might just keep Instagram for friends and family, because my Instagram and Facebook are linked. So if I do a post on Facebook, it automatically posts on Instagram.
Yeah, I need to find out how to do that.
But I'm considering this, been considering it this week, is to do on a totally new Instagram page. That's not really for friends and family. That's more dialed down to what we're doing with our gardens, our goats, just our little kind of family, which is basically what I post on the other stuff. But I'm just trying to get rid of all the friends and family and just try to start something new on there. And I think Instagram's awesome. I really enjoy Instagram.
So I don't want to take your whole teachings here, but how do you link the two?
There should be when you let me go on here and look.
Oh, you don't have to go through all that. I'll
You
look
can
it
look.
up.
I'd have to go back and look on maybe settings, and
It's in the settings.
it should be in the settings on your like Facebook profile where you can.
Okay, I'll go back and look through there. Thanks so much, Amber.
Yeah, it's not hard, and then it just saves you time. The only thing I have to do, like if I do a post, I haven't posted anything today. I've been out in the garden, but when I do a post, I'll do it on Facebook and then it goes to Instagram. I have found that when I post to Facebook and then it just links to Instagram, it posts more regularly. Going from Instagram to Facebook, it's not very consistent. And I don't know why that is. It just is what it is. So I post to Facebook and then it automatically goes to Instagram.
Cool. Okay.
The only thing that I do on that is if I do a post, I'll do it on Facebook. It automatically goes to Instagram. Then I'll have to go back into Instagram and edit the post and put in some hashtags. Like for it'll, gardening or green thumb or whatever. Like, but you with the horses on Instagram, you could hashtag horses of Instagram, like whatever. Like you would have people that would follow you just solely on horse posts, never any Plexus post on Facebook ever, or on Instagram ever. Every once in a while, throw a Plexus post in your Instagram stories, but all your Instagram posts, make every one of them about a horse. What you're doing with the horses today. And you'll get
Okay.
a following.
Cool.
But like I was telling my son, I'm posting on Instagram, you have to have your one thing. Like, what is that one thing? The people that I see that are killing it on Instagram and Plexus are not posting about Plexus. They're posting about their one thing, and they're very good at that one thing. And then they're posting a lot of their Plexus stuff in the stories, not on their Instagram posts. And then they're following, who's going to follow them for Plexus, whether they do Plexus or not, because they're following them because of horses or goats or pigs or whatever, homemaking, right? Home design. They have a huge following, and then they slowly introduce them to Plexus through their stories. Those are the ones that are killing it in Instagram. So just throwing that out there. But when we, again, on step 2, getting noticed by adding value to people's lives, make sure our posts are adding value to people, educating people, encouraging people, inspiring people, you know, and be relatable. I think just being relatable. I think people want reality, like not a reality program, but like true reality. Because I think social media has gotten pretty, I don't know, unrelatable, right? And so I think just being relatable to people on our posts and being encouraging, educating, those sorts of things, I think that goes a long way. Okay. Now, again, I'm going to just say one thing again on the posting. And I'm not saying never post about Plexus either. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we should have a wide variety of things that we post about, like who we are, you know, who are we, right? But Instagram is, and that's Facebook, but Instagram is a little bit different, where it's more specific, right? So like sunsets, horses, whatever. Any questions about that? Okay. Let's go step number 3. Now, again, the first 2 steps had nothing, they're not sales at all. They're just engagement. They're basically just like putting a billboard up in the social media world. That's all the first 2 steps are. The first 2 steps really have nothing to do with selling anything to anybody. It's just ways to engage with people, ways to have conversations with people. But step 3, introduce 3 people to your Plexus vision. Now, where do these people come from? Well, they come from steps 1 and 2 that we've been working on all this time, right? That's who we are introducing Plexus to at this point. This has to do with reach outs. Step 3 has to do with reach outs. Again, step 1 has to do with like commenting, liking, following, hashtags, groups. Step 2 has to do with our personal postings. Step 3 has to do with our reach outs. So this is very important to our business, but I would say all 3 of these steps that we've mentioned so far are important to our business, because if we're not engaging all along or having conversations, we'll never have a chance to reach out unless we're reaching out with cold reach out messages. And I haven't found those very profitable. In the 7 years that I've been doing this, I have not found cold reach outs, just reaching out to a stranger about Plexus. I've not found them to be extremely profitable. The most profitable reach outs and signups I've had have been through relationships. And so that's what we need to be building in steps 1 and 2, and then reaching out to them. So reaching out, I know there have been some things where there's been, you know, do 20 reach outs a day, or that was something that was brought up maybe last month. Was it last month in July? That was a big thing for the 20 reach outs a day, and just the consistency of reaching out. We've talked about on here, on this group, we've talked about just being consistent every day in these steps. So has anybody seen, let's see what Alicia says here. There was a great video. Megan made a post, Biz Video Toolbox. Okay, on the One Team Momentum Makers page, How to Post by Amber Miller. Great posting tips and ideas. Yeah, and check that out. That would be on the Momentum Makers. Oh, internet's unstable. Hold on one second. Okay, let's see. Are we frozen up here? It looks like we froze up. Can you guys hear me at all? Okay, are we back on? Maybe? Okay, maybe we're back on now. I found the missing computer and I turned it off, so maybe we'll be good to go now. Sorry about that. So back to 3. So as far as consistency in reach outs go, how have we seen this translate into business fruit basically in our business? Have you guys seen any, what have you guys seen about consistently reaching out?
I had a woman sign up with me last October, and she took her supplements for 2 months and then for whatever reason stopped. And I've just been checking in with her, just building relationship type checking in, making sure I'm commenting on her post and being supportive of her health goals that she has to reach. And slowly, like almost every month for the past 4 months, she says, I'm gonna sign up. And I have to like stop myself from being frustrated that she just doesn't do it, and still continue to be verbally supportive and encouraging of her goals, and how she just isn't quite there yet to commit, but I believe that she's going to be at some point. So I got to not let my frustrations get in the way and just continue to build that relationship so she can trust me and hopefully re-sign up again. So that's kind of one example. It's been a year and I'm still chatting with her, not giving up on her.
Yeah, I think that's great. Stick with it. I was going to sign up a guy the other night, and we've been talking for, I don't know, 4 years. And he was going to do it. This is this time I'm ready. And then so I called him at 5:30 when we were supposed to talk, and no answer. And then now he's not even reading my messages. So who knows? Maybe next year. I don't know. I just keep following up with him, and he needs the products terribly bad. I don't think he'd be very good at the business, but he needs the products bad. He has terrible diabetes, way overweight, but I don't know. I'll keep following up with him. So who else is seeing being consistent in reach outs translate into positives in your business or positives in you?
So I haven't been spending as much time on reach outs, maybe more following up. And then last week, 2 weeks ago, I did the reset at the end of the week. And then last week, I did a live each day of the reset. And then I did a live to follow up on how the reset went. And I had 2 gals reach out to me and say they're ready to do it. So I guess I feel like it was because of the lives. I didn't have a ton of comments, but I did have a decent amount of views. So I feel like just that stepping out, doing the lives, adding the value, explaining what it was about, and then giving them a real idea. I mean, I said it was hard at some points and said, I didn't gloss over the hard parts. So,
Right.
yeah. So I feel like those were wins.
Perfect. That's good. That's great. All wins too are celebratable, in my
Yeah.
opinion. I celebrate all of them. Every
Yeah.
win, celebrate all of them. Alicia, does anyone know if the 3-day reset group will continue having weekly events through September? I don't know that for sure, but I can find out. I will have an answer for you this afternoon.
I had a gal talk about consistency. Now I've only been in this since mid-March, so I'm still new. I consider myself still new. So I have been consistent, from the start.
Mhm. Uh-oh. I think
Might be
that's-
unstable. There you go.
okay. Nope. Yep.
Oops.
I think that's on your end this time.
I
All right. There we go.
got knocked off. Dang
Okay.
it. So what I wanted to say, I'll try it real quick in case I get knocked off again, which is hard for me. I can't say anything quick. Consistency. I've been very consistent from day one.
Mhm.
And I'm starting to see, I think, a lot of it coming around now. Some people are starting to contact me that, hey, I've been seeing you post about this. I've been seeing this, and this is people I've already sent things to in a messenger, but they never either read it or didn't respond. And most of them just didn't respond. I could see where they read it, and they just nothing, right? So now they're reaching out to me, and I had one reach out to me a couple days ago, and she wanted to get with me last night. So last night I got with her. I asked her, I said, well, what time's good for you? And she says, well, I had an unexpected vet visit, so I can't do it tonight. What about tomorrow morning, meaning this morning? So this morning I reached out to her. She says, I think I'd be better with this in person. I said, okay. I said, I can do that. And I said, well, I'll do these sip and sees where, to get some of your friends. And I told her, and I reiterated with to get at least maybe 6 friends to come until we keep this very informal, under an hour. And if you can get 3 friends to join with you and do this research, she said, if you 3 and 4 each other, you can earn $400. So I said, well, let me see, and I'll get back with you tomorrow, getting a sip and see together for me. But the consistency, to relate it back to that, is being consistent now. Hopefully I'm starting to see that roll over and people are going to start reaching out better.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, consistency is the key to any area, not just Plexus. I mean, gardening, if you're not consistent, the weeds take over, right? Being hydrated, exercise, finances, consistency is just key. Anything else in light of the reach outs, consistency and reach outs, before we move on to the next step?
I think the reach outs, like consistently reaching out and talking to people and following up with people, I think that's really helping me to know how to word things better,
Mhm.
to know how to reach out better, to be more concise in what I say. That way I'm not overloading a person, because I've been there, I've done that, I've overloaded a person before, people before, and then it just like goes cold. And so, just learning to reach out and even just be a friend is serving me better, and I'm learning from it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, and that's it. I think consistency, when we're consistent with something, it becomes our daily routine. You just do it, right? Whether it's exercise, whether it's reaching out. And if we're consistent, it doesn't really matter if we're on vacation. It doesn't really matter if we're not feeling well. It doesn't matter. Like, it just becomes part of your routine. And then you know how, and I think when we're consistent, you just know how to respond better. When you get out of the practice of anything, whether it's reach outs or whatever, it's like, I don't know what to say. But when you're doing it every day, it's just part of what you do, right? And so I think being consistent really helps with confidence. Like, it just becomes almost like muscle memory, right? I'm making my reach out, check it off the list. Okay, I'm moving on with the rest of my day. And so I think just being consistent in that is huge. And so good job, good for you. Keep it up. Let's move on to step number 4. Got those last few steps here to cover. This is step 4, move people to the next step in the relationship. So what this is getting people, and this could be people you've already reached out to. This could be people that are already on your team. This could be people that were on your team at one time and quit taking the products. This could be anybody, but it's basically, and we get to step 4 by all the other things. We get to it through conversations. We get to it through engagement. We get to it through relationship. We get to it through reach outs, right? And follow-ups. And then we try to move them to the next step. Whatever that next step is in our conversation, whatever that next step is in our relationship. Maybe it's them doing the reset. Maybe it's them signing up for the very first time. Maybe it's moving them from a customer or a VIP customer to a brand ambassador. Maybe it's getting them to silver, right? Maybe it's getting them to convention. Maybe it's getting them to senior silver. Whatever that next step is, a lot of times people don't know what to do, or they don't even know there's a next step. So one of our jobs is like, is to reach out to them like, hey, you ended last month at, let's say, whatever, 35 or 40 points. Like, you're only 10 points away from senior silver. Like, they may not even know, right? So it's our job as leaders to help them get to them, to take the next step and to tell them what that next step is. Now this step takes a little bit more time because it's not just a message, it's more conversation at this point. And another thing could be you might have a brand ambassador. It could be just a matter of telling them they can get their products paid for, or a portion of their products paid for if they sign up however many people. So this step number 4 covers a lot of different people, but again, it's just helping them take that next step in their Plexus journey, whatever that is. Alicia says, moving my customers to brand ambassadors is one of my scary reach outs. I don't know why, but starting the conversation is challenging for me. Okay, well, let's cover that. So one of the things that we can look at is, why are we trying to get them? What's in it for them? Right? Like, what's in it for them to go from VIP to brand ambassador? It could be several things. One, it could be getting their products covered. If quite honestly, if they're not going to share, if they're not going to sign people up, we shouldn't move them to brand ambassador. It really, I mean, because honestly, it doesn't really do them that. It's not really doing them any good. So my thought is keep them as a VIP customer. Like if they're not going to try to go silver or try to get their products covered at a minimum, then they shouldn't go to VIP. So really the question to them isn't, hey, do you want to become a brand ambassador? The question really is, hey, would you like to learn how to get your products covered? And then some, you know, whatever that sum is. I mean, it's for different people. So I think changing the question we ask makes it not so scary. Because if we're just moving them to brand ambassador, well, why? Well, I don't know why. Oh, well, then I'm not going to do it. So like, but if there's a reason in it, and I think that reason to move them to brand ambassador would be able to, at a minimum, get their products covered or a portion of their products covered by sharing with other people. Does that take some of the pressure off, Alicia, or the fear by rewording the question to ask?
Yeah, I think so. And if I think about it, that's why I started, was to get my products covered. So that's what drew me in, because the idea of being a network marketer was like so beyond my, I mean, I'd never considered it and had no training in business or anything. So that's a scary thing. But to get my products covered, that's not scary.
No. And I think that especially people who, you know, if you have customers on your team that really enjoy the products, and you know, they've seen great wins, why that's a pretty easy reach out, really. Hey, do you want to, I can show you really how to get your products covered, a portion of your products covered, light bill covered, whatever it is you want to cover. I can show you how to do that. And one of the easy ways on that is you don't have to necessarily teach that. Send them the video, the Me+3 video. It's already done for us. And so, I mean, you take some of the pressure off of us if we did, hey, are you interested in learning how to get get your products covered? I know you love these products. You interested in learning? Or will you watch it? If I send you a video on how to get your products covered, will you watch it? That takes all of the, really, that takes all the pressure off of you. You've really de-escalated any sort of situation there at all. All you're asking, you're not really asking them to do anything except watch a video. That's a micro commitment. That's like, you're not asking them to become diamond. You're asking them to watch a video to educate themselves on how they might be able to cover their products. So I think just changing what we're asking them to do may be key there. So let's move on to number 5. Use third-party validation as social proof. Again, this is as you're in conversation with people, as you're in conversation with teammates that are already on your team or old teammates, whatever it is, promoting the next event, whatever that is, promoting the reset group, right, for accountability, promoting a team call, promoting a company event, let's say convention, you know, when convention comes around or something like that. Or if you, I know you had talked, Alicia, and maybe Amber, I think you guys had talked about having US Hispanic potentials, right? And friends. I mean, promoting the next US Hispanic Plexus call, right? That's what this is. This is using any sort of third-party validation that you can in the process of talking to people, whether it's a diamond documentary, whether it's a team call, whether it's the reset group, whether it's convention, whatever it is, use those tools that we have to help you. They're there to use, right? And that one international, I think I put a link in the group, that one where you can find all the international tools to use. That's excellent third-party validation right there. And there's a ton of it in there. All the work's done. So really it's a matter of sharing it with some people, saying, hey, would you watch this video? Hey, would you check this thing out? Let me know what your thoughts are, right? Getting them to make small commitments. The Slim Blitz event was good. Yeah, we do a lot of different events. We do 3-day challenges. We do, as we go, we do some Silver Bells challenges. We do some Christmas parties type stuff. There's a lot of things that we do that we can be using as ways to promote our team, to promote things going on in the team, and people like to be a part of that stuff. Let's see. Any questions about that? Using third-party validation. Oh, a 3-way call. That's third-party validation. Instead of bringing in a tool, bring in a human being, like someone that has the same issue that your potential has, or someone who's overcome that issue, or your upline, or whoever, just for third-party validation. Use that. Let's look at step number 6 really fast. See, what time is it? We got a few minutes here. Step number 6, stay relevant in your social feed. Again, this has to do with stories, not really posting, but this has to do with your stories. A lot of people watch stories because they can, and the cool thing about a story, whether it's Facebook or Instagram, you can see who watches it. Stories are good for people, but stories are really good for you and for me because we can see who's watching our stuff. We can see who took the time to watch our stories. So be doing stories, right? Be doing your stories. And this is where you can put, you can put Plexus stuff in your stories as well, right? So if you just use your stories, start putting stuff in your stories. And there's a lot of different tools you can do with the stories. You can use a video in stories. You can use a picture in stories. You can take a picture and you can write stuff on the picture, or you can draw an arrow, or you can make the background glitter and shine with lightning bolts. And you can do all sorts of things on your stories. So again, it's a tool, but we have to use it, right? We have to use that. So be using stories. If you see people who are killing it, crushing it in Plexus, either Instagram or Facebook, it doesn't matter. They're utilizing stories. Lots of stories. Last thing, and then we're going to be done for this version, or this episode of our Gold Call. Linda had to jump off really fast. This is step number 7, duplication. So what's that mean? That means all these things that you're doing, these first 6 steps, teach them to the business builders on your team. Teach these things to the ones who say they want to work the business. Teach these things to the ones that say they want to cover their products. And if you don't have anybody yet, if you don't have any business builders on your team, keep doing the first 6 steps until you get some. And then duplicate this. Teach this to them. Try to get them to Gold School. Try to get them to Ruby School. Right? And that's just the way this business works. Roberta, you got to run. Cool. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you. But yeah, we have to be teaching this stuff, just like I'm taking, the time to teach you guys, or even on personal coaching calls with people. We teach these things to other people, so it helps raise them up. So be doing that on your team. Be teaching, and you don't have to know it all. Guys, I don't know it all. I'm learning. I'm still working through fears. I'm still screwing things up. like, but I keep showing up. I keep getting back up. I keep following the example of Rocky Balboa. I just keep getting back up, get back in the fight, right? And that's just the key. So you don't have to know everything to start teaching any of this stuff. You just have to know something and just start teaching that. You know, whatever that thing is. Teach them how to find the international page. That's something, right? Teach them how to find that. That's worth a lot. So be duplicating in any way that you can, and be sharing what you know with your team, with your any business builders or people that say they want to build a business on your team. Teach them what you know. And so, and that's the way it's done. We learn together. We learn as we go. It's just kind of like on the job training, network marketing is. There's not really a skill set. You just develop one as you go. I don't like, that's just how it works. So any questions before we get off here? Anybody have any questions, concerns, complaints? Nothing? Amber, you got anything? No? Okay. Well, I will get this recording uploaded to YouTube, and I'll put the link in the chat group. So be paying attention to that, and just stay consistent with those steps. Keep staying consistent. You know, this is a long game. This isn't like people, a lot of people, before we had a gym in our house, I'd go to the gym. Well, the first 3 weeks of January, you can't find a piece of equipment because they're all full, right? Everybody, and then no one looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger at the end of those 3 weeks, so they quit, right? 95% of them quit. But it's the ones that at the end of December that have been there all year and that were consistent are the ones that see the gains. They're the ones who see the fruit. And this Plexus business is no different. If you want to see the fruit, it's going to have to be doing these things consistently. And if you fall down, just get back up and go after it again, right? Just like Rocky. And I keep saying Rocky because I think, anyway, he's my favorite movie person. But you know, stay consistent and you will see fruit. You will see fruit. You'll never see fruit if we quit. So just keep banging the drum, keep marching into battle, keep the flag held up high, and you will see fruit, I promise. So, girls, I got to go back out to the garden. So have a good day. Thanks for joining, and I'll talk to you soon.